بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. And we are continuing with our studies on the book التعبير القرآني by Dr. Fadil Saleh Samirra'i. And we had last week we ended abruptly because I got disconnected. My internet wasn't stable, so I just decided to end it there. So we're going to continue from exactly where we left off, and I think the video ends with the discussion on بينهما, sorry. So we'll just continue from there, do the i'rab bit, and then read the next passage. So, and maybe just before we do that, just to recap, I'm just going to read the entire thing so that we can all understand what we are talking about in this passage. So Dr. Fadil says, فاستعمل مع الليل الفعل لتسكنوا فيه ومع النهار الاسم مبصرا ولم يسوي بينهما. So he used with the night, he used the verb لتسكنوا فيه, and he used with the day the ism, the noun مبصرا ولم يسوي بينهما, and he did not equate between the two, right? He did not make them equal. فلم يقل فحرف عطف لام حرف جزم, it makes the مضارع مجزوم, and it's also حرف نفي. So and it is translated in the ماضي, it negates the ماضي in other words. So فلم يقل, يقل is a فعل مضارع مجزوم بلم. Okay, so لم made it مجزوم, so يقل is مجزوم, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو. لم يقل, he did not say. What did he not say? So you see ساكنا here becomes مقول القول في محل نسب مفعول به. That is why it is منسوب, because this is مفعول به, right? And this مفعول به has a معطوف. So مبصرا is معطوف to ساكنا by حرف عطف واو. Okay, so that's the relationship there. So فلم يقل this ولا this. All right. So again, this واو حرف عطف لا of negation, and then لتسكنوا فيه. You can assume that there's another يقول. فلم يقل ساكنا ومبصرا ولا لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه. So he did not say this or that. So this sentence basically is connected to فلم يقل. Yeah. So let me just think for a minute here. فلم يقل. So لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه. It can be seen as also like there's a hidden وما قال أو ولم يقل. This ولا can be replaced ولم يقل. لا ولم. لم ولا. So sometimes you have like this type of neither nor in English, right? Neither nor. So it's in Arabic, you can either use one form of negation and another form of negation. You can say ولم يقل ولا لم لا ما قال ولم يقل أو ما قال وما قال, right? So you can use kind of like that structure. So لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه is basically connected to ساكنا ومبصرا. He did not say this, neither did he say this. Even in English, when we say he did not say this, neither did he say this. So you can see like sometimes we repeat the verb. Or we can just say he did not say this nor this, right? So sometimes you say it like that in English. This is exactly what has been done here. So فلم يقل ساكنا ومبصرا, he did not say ساكنا ومبصرا, nor لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه. So you can look at this ولا here as nor, right? And of course لتسكنوا فيه, this lam is lam التعليل, lam لكي, and then لكي إذا حتى, and it made تسكنوا, it made it light, right? So that's why it is لتسكنوا, not لتسكنون. and of course the فاعل is أنتم. أنتم تسكنون يعني. and then فيه جار مجرور متعلق to لتسكنوا، واو حرف عطف connecting this verb to this verb. and لتبصروا again same thing happening just like لتسكنوا. لتبصروا same thing. لام حرف التعليل أن لكي. sometimes it's called لام لكي, right? or sometimes it's called لام السببية. all those they mean the same thing. Just know lam of because or so that. We normally translate it as so that, right? لتبصروا, so that you see in it. So تبصروا أنتم again made it light because the noon has been. And maybe just to mention here, for in case you're reading tafsir and you come across something and you're like, what does that mean? Sometimes you will see the i'rab books, they would say lam, this لتبصروا is منصوب وعلامة نسبه نزع وعلامة نسبه حذف النون. You would see something like that. حذف النون. The noon has been hidden, in other words. So the indication that it is nasab is because the noon has been hidden, right? So you'll see something like that in the books, just for your own studies if you come across something like that. Anyway, فيه goes back to لتبصروا. It's متعلق to لتبصروا, just like the first فيه is متعلق to لتسكن. مع أن, مع, what is مع? Is a special مضاف, right? So special مضاف, this is a مضاف, and then this, whatever comes after it, is going to be في محل جر مضاف إليه. And whatever comes after it, we can see that it is أن and اسم أن. And together, what do they form? They form a complex اسم, what we call in Arabic مصدر مؤول. So this مصدر مؤول here أن and its اسم, they will be the مضاف إليه of مع, right? في محل جر. And of course, inside that, أن الاستعمال, so we have this أن الاستعمال together, أن and its اسم becomes our مبتدا. الاستعمال الحقيقية, again موصوف صفة, so الحقيقية is the صفة هو. So sometimes you have the huwa comes in between the mubtada and the khabar. This can happen when you have, it's called ضمير الفصل, right? We've seen that where the huwa, a pronoun, comes between the mubtada and its khabar, right? So this would be the ضمير الفصل in that sense. And then of course, or you can look at it like this whole sentence is our khabar, and inside that khabar is another jumla ismiya with the huwa as the mubtada and this part as the khabar. That it goes back to the same thing. Whether you look at it as that entire thing is the khabar or you look at this as the damirul fasl, it's the same thing. The i'rab is the same thing because you have mubtada and you have khabar. And of course, inside the khabar, what is that? Is a jumla fi'aliyya لتبصروا فيه. And we've covered لتبصروا فيه before. The same i'rab applies. Questions? I know when Dr. Fadil right now, because we've done this book for quite some time, we're familiar with how he speaks. Only when he starts to quote other books like Al-Kashaf and he starts to quote other books, yeah, that's when things just, we're like, what is happening in this? But subhanallah, right now we are familiar with how Dr. Fadil is how he speaks. Let's see, there's a question here. Just give me a second, let me clean this so that perhaps you can get a better idea of understanding what's going on. Okay. I would say that مع أن, so somebody is asking what is this مع أن, is مضاف مضاف إليه, therefore it's متعلق to something. What is it متعلق to? فلم يقل, I would say it goes back to يقول. You can look at it as متعلق بالفعل يقول. فلم يقل this مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي. He did not say this despite the fact that the real usage or the real usage, I think, or so there's figurative speech and then there's literal speech. So الحقيقي could also mean literal usage. مع أن الاستعمال الحقيقي despite the literal usage is this, or despite the real usage, this. So in this case, because we're talking about speech, we will speak in terms of literal and figurative. And I will explain those two when we get to the next passage. What is a figurative speech? What is a literal speech? Okay, I hope that's clear. Can we use although? Yes, you can use although. You can use although, you can use given that, right? So how do we translate this entire passage? We'll say, so he used with the night, the fi'l, this, and with the day, the noun, this, and he did not equate between both of them. So he did not say ساكنا ومبصرا, and he did not say لتسكنوا فيه ولتبصروا فيه, although, or given that, or despite the fact that the literal usage is لتبصروا فيه. Right? The literal usage is لتبصروا فيه. We expected it to be that. So because he started with a fi'l, we expected him to end with a fi'l. He started with the مع الليل لتسكنوا فيه. So when he came to the nahar, we expected لتبصروا فيه. That was the literal or the expected or the real usage. But he didn't do that. All right? Yes. Any other questions regarding that part? Okay. So we can go to the next thing. Let's see here. Alhamdulillah. All right. Let's see who wants to read, wants to volunteer here.
Can I try, sister now?
Go on.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وذلك أنه جمع الحقيقة والمجاز في تعبير واحد. حقيقة ولو جعلهما بصورة تعبيرية واحدة لفاتت هذه المزية الفنية فإنه ذكر
لفاتت
هذه المزية الفنية.
Why مزية؟
Just give me a minute. Is it it's a file of لفاتت?
Now I'm teaching you how to think as you're reading. Like what is doing the action, what is being done to the action. So lafatat is feminine, what is it referring to? So as you're reading,
yeah. This should be the file of lafatat.
Yes.
Oh, but when I was trying to frame the sentence, I somehow kept it as a maf'ul bihi. I don't know why. Let me check. Okay.
Because, and again, it goes back with the understanding of what fata means. Fata is lazim.
It's expired. It's lazim.
Exactly. You just said expired. Expired doesn't expire on something else. Itself expires.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Correct. 1 second. لفاتت هذه المزية الفنية فإنه ذكر نعمة الله علينا في الليل فقال هو الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه. Correct it?
Yes.
Okay, it's in Surah Yunus. ولو قال هو الذي جعل لكم الليل ساكنا لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة على الخلق. Again, I did a mistake. لم يكن فيه دلالة النعمة. Okay. دلالة نعمة على الخلق من ناحية من ناحية ولكانت لكم هنا لكم هنا زائدة ليس
ولا كانت yes.
زائدة ليس لها فائدة
ليس لها
فائدة it's a
I
خبر
know ليس كان we'll figure it out
okay it's فائدة فهو جاء لكم بالصيغة الفعلية للدلالة على قصد النعمة وتفضل علينا وتفضل علينا وعلاوة على ذلك فإنه لو قال ساكنا لم يكن التعبير مجازيا لأن الليل يصح يصح is fine
يصح
I just wrote يصح وصح يصح I don't know what is the meaning I wrote here is يصح I wrote it as يصح I don't know
from وصح you'd be taking it from which I think صح يصح to be correct right?
يصح it's the ضرب family يصح
yes
okay ضرب okay لأن الليل يصح أن يوسف بالسكون أن يوسف
يوصف
يوسف بالسكون فيقال
okay we'll stop there and let's see if we can be able to figure this part first out
yeah
and finish this page all right so let me read that so he says وذلك أنه جمع الحقيقة والمجاز في تعبير واحد ولو جعلهما بصورة تعبيرية واحدة لفاتت هذه المزية الفنية فإنه ذكر نعمة الله علينا في الليل فقال هو الذي جعل لكم الليل لتسكنوا فيه ولو قال هو الذي جعل لكم الليل ساكنا لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة على الخلق من ناحية لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة على الخلق من ناحية ولكانت لكم هنا زائدة ليس لها فائدة فهو جاء بلكم وبالصيغة الفعلية للدلالة على قصد النعمة والتفضل علينا وعلاوة على ذلك فإنه لو قال ساكنا لم يكن التعبير مجازيا لأن الليل يصح أن يوصف بالسكون فيقال then he will continue maybe just for the sake of understanding I'm going to read what he says next so that I explain to you what that passage means فيقال ليل ساكن وليل ساجن فتحويله إلى الصيغة الاسمية ليس فيه فائدة معنوية ولا فنية ولما تقررت دلالة النعمة في صدر الآية كان العدول إلى التعبير المجازي بعد ذاك كسبا فنيا alright so let's see what is he saying so he's saying that by stating that the night by stating the objective of the night by saying it in a جملة فعلية لتسكنوا فيه and by stating the nahar with a جملة اسمية he has combined both the figurative speech and the literal speech he has combined both literal and metaphorical or figurative speech. But maybe before I even explain to you this passage, let me explain to you the difference between these two, because I think it's important. Now, we're entering into a little bit of balagha concepts here, and I think he's going to mention some balagha concept. So what is a literal speech and what is a metaphorical speech? Literal speech is if I'm reporting according to exactly how it happened, how something happened. Exactly, right? So for example, I ate 2 bananas. It's a weird example, but just bear with me. I ate, or yeah, let me give you this one and then we'll take another one. I ate 2 bananas in 5 minutes exactly. I'm not trying to exaggerate anything. I am not trying to be elaborate or fanciful. I'm not trying to claim anything. I'm just stating the fact that it took me exactly 5 minutes to eat 2 bananas. Literal speech. All right. Let's get another example. I am too tired. I could sleep 10 hours. I could sleep 10 hours. Yeah? This is a literal speech. Okay? This is a literal speech. What is a figurative speech? Because I'm saying I'm too tired. I could literally, and even you could add the word literally. I could literally, sometimes people say like this, and then I'll show you how people use literally in the wrong ways. And they're using it to exaggerate, but it doesn't make sense because they're breaking rules of English grammar by using the word literally. Anyway, I'll explain that in a sec. So when I'm being literal, I would say I am too tired. I could literally sleep 10 hours. Maybe I normally sleep 5 or 4 hours, but because I am too tired right now, I could literally sleep 10 hours. Now, what's a figurative speech? Same example. I am too tired. I could die. Yeah. Like, I mean, come on, that's not, you really cannot die. Or I am too tired, I'm dead. Or I am, yeah, I am dead. I could die. Stick with that one. I could die. So that's figurative speech. You literally cannot die. I mean, it's not, you're being exaggerative. It's a hyperbole. You're trying to emphasize the situation of how tired you are, that you're using a very impossible scenario to paint how tired you are. I am too tired, I could die. Or I am too hungry. Let's look at another example. I am too hungry. I could eat a horse. No, you cannot eat a horse. You cannot finish an entire horse, or I could eat an entire cow. Let's go with something that most of us can eat. A cow. Yeah. I am too hungry. I could eat a cow. No, you cannot eat a cow and finish a cow. Literally, you cannot do that. And then there are people who take this figurative stuff, what we are calling it majaz. This is the figurative speech. And then they put literally here. And then they say, oh, I am too hungry. I could literally eat a cow. No, you cannot literally eat a cow. That is wrong speech. If you hear somebody say something like this, oh, what is happening? If you hear somebody say something like this, then yeah, no, tell them you're grammatically breaking rules. Here, I could literally eat a cow. So this is how you do not use the word literally. Okay, so this is wrong usage of the word literally. You cannot use the word literally, which means accurately, in a metaphorical sentence, right? Yeah, horse is halal, by the way. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, there's some people who eat horses, I think. I think it is halal, right? It's donkeys that are haram. Horses are halal, I think. But yeah, if I'm wrong, then I don't know. But yeah, I'm just giving an example and just trying to make you understand the difference between majaz and haqiqa. Haqiqa, literal. Majaz, metaphorical, figurative speech. So that's the difference between those two. Yeah. No, I don't think donkeys are halal. I think donkeys, their hooves are not broken. That one I'm sure. I'm sure donkeys are not halal. But horses, because I know there's some tribes up in uh, Turkmenistan, that area, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. I think they eat horses. right? Anyway, that's not the subject matter, but the idea is for you to understand the difference between majaz and haqiqa. What is literal, the reality, and what is figurative and what is metaphorical. Right. Anyway, so he's saying that by describing the layl with litaskunu fihi, he has captured and with nahar as mubsiran, he has captured both elements of literalism, of reality, and figurative speech all in one. And if he had ولو جعلها بصورة تعبيرية واحدة, and if he just stuck to one form of expression, let's say جملة فعلية or جملة اسمية, and he just stuck to جملة اسمية or just stuck to جملة فعلية, لفاتت هذه المزية الفنية. This beautiful characteristic or feature would have, would have been lost. We wouldn't have this feature, right? فإنه ذكر نعمة الله علينا في الليل فقال, and also you can realize that when he says لتسكنوا فيه, there was an element of Allah pointing us to the ni'mah of the night, to the blessing of the night. What is the blessing of the night? So that you can rest, you can find rest in it. There's a blessing there that is being mentioned. Whereas if he just said al-layl sakinan, the night is quiet, the night is tranquil, the night is restful, then we cannot really exactly draw benefit from that. There's no blessing that is being attributed to us specifically. It's just describing the general night as being restful. Okay, fine, but what does that have to do with me? There's no blessing for me being mentioned. But when Allah says لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ, so that you may find rest in it, now he's pointing me to the ni'mah that he has put in the night. So that's what Dr. Fadil is saying. وَلَوْ قَالَ هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ سَاكِنًا, that's what he says. If he just said that the night is restful, لَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهِ دَلَالَةُ نِعْمَةٍ, this blessing would have been lost. This blessing, there'll be no indication of this blessing upon his creation, right? And also, what would be the purpose of lakum? We would not be mentioned in the ayah. There will be no need for us to be mentioned because litaskunu is talking about antum. Yeah, there's no need. And if he just said huwa alladhi ja'ala lakum al-layla sakina, there will be no point in mentioning lakum if there's no blessing for us. What's the point of mentioning me when the blessing is not related to me? Do you understand? But when he says litaskunu antum, so that you may find the benefit of rest in the night, then now the benefit or the blessing is being linked directly to me. Whereas ja'ala lakum layla sakinan, the lakum, there's no point of it. Me, I'm not directly linked to the blessing, right? Exactly, so that there's that emphasis. We are being emphasized into that, like we are being roped into that equation so that we can actually appreciate the blessing that is in the night, right? فهو جاء بلكم وبصيغة الفعلية للدلالة على قصد النعمة. So in other words, this whole point of mentioning لتسكنوا is for us to be brought so that we can appreciate the ni'mah and the tafadhul, the extra benefits, the extra blessings that Allah has put upon us. وعلاوة على ذلك فإنه لو قال ساكنا, and on top of that, in addition to that, if he had said ساكنا لم يكن التعبير مجازيا, it wouldn't be metaphorical, it wouldn't be figurative speech, because we know the night. I mean, all of us go to sleep at night. If you wake up in the middle of the night, what is the one quality you would describe the night as? Tranquil, peaceful, calm, quiet. All those are the meanings of sakin. We all know this. We don't need to be told this. Everybody knows this. So there's no metaphorical figurative speech when Allah says وَجَعَلَ اللَّيْلَ سَاكِنًا. There's nothing extra being mentioned. It's just, it's information, but there's nothing more that is being mentioned in that sense, because it is correct, like he says, لأن الليل يصح أن يوصف بالسكون, because it is correct to describe the night as sakin, the night as quiet, as calm, as restful. فيقال, I'm just going to explain the next paragraph so that we can probably understand the meaning. فيقال ليل ساكن. For example, it is commonly said a tranquil, a restful night, a peaceful night, a quiet night. وليل ساجن, and a tranquil night. These are the descriptions given to the night. We all know this. فتحويله إلى صيغة الإسمية ليس فيه فائدة معنوية. So changing it or saying it in a صيغة إسمية, in a nominal way, using an ism, doesn't really have much value to it in terms of semantic, in terms of meaning, in terms of, it doesn't add much value because this is already common knowledge. We say this. ولا فنية, and it doesn't even have any artistic value or beauty in it, right? So, and of course, the idea of the blessing is also lost in that sense if it is used in the ismiya form, right? Okay, so that's kind of like the meaning of what's happening there. Any
Sister Ilham?
questions? Yes.
Yeah. Sister Ilham, I'll just walau ja'alahuma, had he used them both in a same one picture of expression, then the fun, the artistic value would have been lost. It means that, right? Till that point.
Yes.
Hazil maziyatun.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
actually I didn't get it from this part. Walau qala huwa alladhi, had he said that ja'ala lakum layla, just because of this lakum, it's losing the value because litaskunu is also you. So this is emphasizing when you're using jumla fi'liya.
No, he's emphasizing. So, okay, look, what he's comparing is what Allah said, لِتَسْكُنُوا فِي. لِتَسْكُنُوا جملة فعلية. But he could have easily replaced لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ with what? With ساكنا.
Yes.
Because in the next ayah, what did he say? وَالنَّهَارِ مُبْصِرًا.
Mubsiran, yeah.
Exactly. So he used an ism there. So why did he use fi'l here and he used an ism there? Why did he not use sakinan here as an ism? So that's what he's trying to compare. He's trying to compare those two scenarios. Yeah, between using a fi'l and using an ism.
Would you
And
mind
he's
me
saying
this next line, please? Can you please explain this next line? لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة على خلق من ناحية.
Okay, so he's saying if he had said it like this in a jumla ismiya, instead of using لتسكنوا فيه, he said جعل لكم الليل ساكنا, right? ساكنا. لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة على الخلق. The indication of the ni'mah, of the blessing, would not be there. There will be no indication of the blessing. Because now, لتسكنوا, it points us to the ni'mah, so that you may find rest in it. The blessing that you will find in it is rest. Okay? The blessing that we would find in the night is rest. But if he just said, جَعَلَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ سَاكِنًا, he made the night as restful, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will find rest in it. Right? Because it's so general. He made the night restful. Does that mean if I'm in the night, I will be restful? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. But what Allah is saying, لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ, is like when the night is there, the night is there for you to find rest. So there's a specific ni'mah that is associated with لِتَسْكُنُوا فِيهِ, whereas the ni'mah is not there when you just said the night is restful. The night is restful. Okay, sure. What does that have to do with me? The night is restful. Okay, thank you very much.
It's like just simply a general statement, right? Well, that there is a night where the rest can be taken, but here it's emphasized that you can take a rest. That's why Allah has blessed us with the night. Did I get it right? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jazakallah khair.
Exactly. Yeah. Fawzi, I think just summarized what Dr. Khaled was saying. So he's making 2 points. One, using the fi'al to show that the night is rest for us. So there's that specific ni'mah, blessing for us. And secondly, Allah used lakum to show that it is for us. Okay, so there's the benefit in using this lakum here makes more sense because this lakum points to the ni'mah. But this lakum does not point to any ni'mah. It's useless. He made the night for us. He جعل لكم الليل ساكنا. For what purpose? يعني it doesn't give us the purpose, but here you have lam ta'lil which gives us the purpose. So it's specific for us. So the lakum makes more sense in the first one, and it doesn't make sense in the second one. That's what Dr. Fadil is saying. And so when he says وَلَكَانَتْ لَكُمْ هُنَا زَائِدَةً, so he's saying here in this sense, the lakum would be extraneous, would be زائدة. ليس لها فائدة, it doesn't have any benefit. Because for what purpose is it the nice restful for us? What purpose is it serving? So it feels like it is extra. Right? Okay. What is dalalatu rafa? Because it is the ism of yakun. لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة. So كان
No, but
يكن.
dalala is feminine, right?
Yeah.
So it should be lam takun.
Not necessarily.
Because of the distance?
Yeah. Let me think.
It does not have in it. I took it as a khabar.
Okay, let's see if it can be a khabar. لم يكن فيه.
I mean, this sentence, I took this sentence, huwa allazi ja'ala lakum al-layli sakinan. I took this as the doer of yakun. It does not have in it an evidence or indication of name. So I took dalala as the khabar.
We take دلالة as a khabar. Let me think. لم يكن فيه دلالة.
Let's see, maybe when we'll get there, inshallah, we will sort it
Yeah,
out.
okay. So because I'm looking at it as a general rule, like you have yakun and then after it jar majroor. So obviously whatever comes after yakun is going to be the isim of kana. It's kind of like how the general rule. But I'm trying to imagine the possibility of dalala as khabar. لم يكن فيه. Because dalala comes with the ta marbuta, so that, and also ni'ma comes with the ta marbuta. So it's not that it is feminine for yakun to be feminine. That's not the discussion. The discussion that I'm wondering is if it's possible to be the khabar, which maybe I can see the possibility of it. But I'm just taking as a general rule that, when you have kana sentences and then jar majroor immediately after it, whatever comes after jar majroor is going to be the isim of kana. That's like a general type of rule that makes life easier. Right? So can we translate it both as لم يكن فيه, so that if we take it as the isim of kana, it will be the indication of blessing on the creation from one perspective wouldn't be in it, which is fine. And also if you're to translate as a khabar, would be لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمتي, it wouldn't be in it any indication. I think it can work both ways, maybe. I'll have to confirm that, honestly. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I could see where you're coming from, and I could see the possibility of that. If دلالة نعمة is before فيه, we call it sifa. We call it sifa of what? I didn't understand that. You mean like دلالة نعمة is a sifa of فيه, or فيه is a sifa of دلالة نعمة?
Yes, fee is the sifa of the data to ni'matin. If he is after ni'matin.
Yeah,
يعني right?
yeah, you can look at it
Mm,
that way, and also even if fihi came after it, there's a possibility of it being a sifa as well. So it doesn't really
yes.
matter if fihi comes before or comes after. Sometimes it comes before, sometimes it comes after. Rahmatun minna rahmatun, right?
Okay.
So it comes
Okay.
both ways in the Quran. Rahmatun minna, a mercy from us. Minna rahmatun, from us mercy. And they're both sifa in that case.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a possibility also for fihi to be a sifa. Any other questions? All right. So maybe let's break it down. Maybe you'll have more questions as we go on. All right. وذلك واو حرف عطف ذلك this is going to be a مبتدا, right? And then whatever comes after it is going to be a خبر في محل رفع. We know the drill. Okay. And then inside the خبر we have a جملة اسمية. أنه أن and its اسم becomes again a مبتدا. جمع is a verb. So that means the whatever comes after it, this جملة فعلية is going to be a خبر of أن في محل رفع. Guys, give me a second. I'm just going to plug in my computer before it dies. Yeah, so where was I? Okay. جمع. Yes, figurative death, or probably literal death as well, because yeah, it can actually die temporarily, like in a sleep. The death, like a sleep, like death. Okay. أنه جمع. So جمع is a فعل, a verb. The inside the pronoun is the doer. جمع يعني هو. جمع ماذا? What did he compile? What did he gather? Gathers to. جمع is to gather, to group, to bring together, right? That's why it's called جمعة, because it's a gathering. So جمع ماذا? جمع الحقيقة. That this becomes مفعول به. And of course واو حرف عطف connecting مجاز to حقيقة. So المجاز is معطوف to الحقيقة. في تعبير واحد. في حرف جار تعبير مجرور. So together they form a متعلق. And of course واحد matches with تعبير. So this is the صفة. And of course this is a متعلق بالفعل جمع. Okay, جمع الحقيقة والمجاز في تعبير واحد. ولو واو حرف عطف. لو we know we talked about لو and we mentioned there are two kinds of لو. There's the لو that must come with the جواب of شرط, well, it's جملة شرطية and it comes with a جواب. And then there's the لو that is لو التمني, the لو for wishful thinking. How I wish I had a new car. Or you're just wishing. Or if only I had a new car. Kind of like something like that. Weird wishful thinking like that. So this, how do you distinguish between the two? The جملة شرطية one, the لو شرطية is going to come with the جواب الشرط, and the جواب الشرط is going to come with a لام. We know this. لو and then the لام. لام الجواب. This لام is called لام الجواب. It's easy to remember. Why? Because it comes in the جواب. لام الجواب comes in the جواب. Right? So that's how you know that this is جملة شرطية. So this لو حرف شرط and غير جازمة. It does not have any effect in terms of إعراب, in terms of status. So it does not make مجزوم. And then you have, what is this? لو جعلهما. So جعل will be a فعل شرط, but because it's the ماضي, nothing happens to it, and also because لو does not have any effect on it. All right. So جعلهما, and then هما would be the مفعول به. Yeah, in this case, because it's the attached pronoun. بصورة, ب حرف جار, صورة اسم مجرور, تعبيرية. Right? So this is the صفة of صورة. واحدة, again, another صفة. In one expressive form, right? Whether it's فعلية or اسمية. لا, what will happen? لفاتت هذه المزية الفنية. Right? So lam, we've talked about lam, we've said it's the lam جواب الشرط. فاتت, فات يفوت, we've said this is to be expired, to be lost. And it's lazim, it means the action is happening to the thing itself. So this type of feature would be lost. This type of feature would have vanished. Right? So those are some of the words that you can use to maintain the intransitivity, the, what is it called? Lazim nature of the word fata. Okay. And of course هذه المزية, this هذه is اسم الإشارة, المزية is مشار إليه, and together actually المزية here would be considered بدل. Grammatically المزية would be بدل. I know we learnt it as اسم الإشارة and مشار إليه, but grammatically there's no such thing as مشار إليه. مشار إليه is anything that you point to, right? So the whatever comes after اسم الإشارة. Wait, am I mixing two things? Oh no, yeah, we're fine. Yeah. So whatever comes after ismul ishara, whether it's a sentence, whether it's an ism, that is a musharun ilay. But how do you do the grammatical analysis of it? It could either be a khabar, like we did in the first sentence here, khabar, or it could be a badal. Yeah. So in other words, if I just removed hadihi and said lafatat al-maziyyatu al-fanniyya, perfect sense. Right? So al-maziyya here would be the badal of hadihi. And of course, al-fanniyya is the sifa to al-maziyya. And another, this maziyya is a good word to know. I'm just going to point out. Maziyya is one, singular. Mazaya is plural. So maziyyatun, wahid. Mazaya, jam'a. And it's a good word to know. Why? Because normally we like to say pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. Mazaya wa uyub. Advantages and disadvantages. Mazaya wa uyub. Aib, uyub. Yeah, kind of like from that kind of sense. Right? So it's a good word to know. Feature, advantage, that's the meaning of maziyya. Okay. Fa, حرف عطف, or sorry, استئناف. You can look at it that way. إنه مبتدأ. Can you please read the ishara part? Okay. So when you have ismul ishara, whatever comes after it is going, the i'rab is going to be done in two ways. Maybe I should write it here. So whenever you have ismul ishara, the i'rab is going to be in two ways. One is going to be mubtada, and two is going to be badal. These are the two ways of how you do the i'rab, or you give the grammatical analysis of whatever comes after ismul ishara. So هذه, هذا, ذلك, تلك, أولئك, all that stuff, right? So when is it a badal? When it has al on it. Whatever we called musharun ilay in our studies. Whatever we call musharun ilay in our studies, that would be the badal. But if it comes as anything else, sorry, khabar. Am I saying? This is supposed to be khabar. So anything else like a jumla ismiya, then it will be a khabar. But my mind goes to I know, that's how we were taught. Yeah, you see, pointer plus al, you know, ismul ishara and musharun ilay. But no matter how many Arab books you read, you will never find this term musharun ilay, and you'll be like, what is going on? We were lied to. I demand justice. No, we were not lied to. Ustad made it easy for us to understand certain concepts so that we can, but now that we have understood those concepts, and you know, if you just understand the word musharun ilay, أشار يشير إشارة فهو مشير. أشير يشار إشارة فهو مشار. The thing being pointed to. This is اسم مفعول. So in other words, if you just to translate this phrase here, you're just talking about the thing being pointed to. It could be a khabar, it could be a badal, the thing that you're pointing to. Let me give you an English example. If I say, this book, maybe I could even write the example here so that you can understand. This book is green. This book, what am I pointing to? A book. So that's the musharun ilayh. Now let's come to the khabar. This is a green book. What am I pointing to? A green book. So it's a musharun ilayh. In other words, whatever comes after an ismul ishara is going to be a musharun ilayh. But how do we grammatically label that? Either a khabar, because there's an is between them, you can clearly see that, or there's no is in between them, right? Yeah. Childhood memories, all right. Yeah, we were children back then. Where does the khabar of innahu and dhalika end? Okay, let's figure out that. Where does the khabar of dhalika? So innahu jama'a. So let's figure out the khabar of innahu first, because if we figure that out, then we can figure out the end of dhalika. Okay. جمع الحقيقة والمجاز في تعبير واحد. You can consider that the end. You can consider that the end. Make it short and simple and sweet. You can say, yeah, this is the end. Fine. خلاص. But if you want to, again, look at wa as harf atif and prolong issues, and then you look at fa as harf atif and prolong issues, which is not necessary, I don't think, then, you would go all the way to the end of this ayah, which I don't think is necessary. Wahid is fine. The end of the khabar there. It's fine. All right. Is the idea on ismul ishara musharun ilayh clear? Yeah, think literally. Let's not be extreme and put emphasis and exaggeration into, yeah, simple and sweet. 100%. Yeah. All right. Okay. Is that clear, Sayyidah Samia? The concept on musharun ilayh?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah,
Great.
alhamdulillah. It's just that we are talking about that when ismul ishara is there, so we have to see whether it is a murakkab or not. If it is like followed by al, then it is a murakkab ishari, and if it is not,
Yes.
then it is a standalone feature.
Exactly. 100%. That's exactly it. Right. Okay. So maybe we can try and see how much more we can be able to do in this page. We've been on this page for a long time, but it's fine. No worries. So فإنه مبتدأ, and then of course ذكر is a فعل here, which begins the part of the خبر of إنه. So we're dealing with جملة فعلية with the فعل as خبر ذكر, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun هو. ذكر ماذا? What did he mention? What did he say? نعمة الله. So this is our مفعول به. And of course نعمة is our مضاف, and اللفظ الجلالة is our مضاف إليه. So that forms part of like our مفعول به bucket, right? علينا, على حرف جار, the pronoun اسم مجرور. So together this is متعلق بالفعل ذكر, goes back to ذكر. Oh, sorry, it goes back to نعمة. نعمة الله علينا. So this is not متعلق بالفعل actually. This is متعلق to نعمة. The ni'mah of Allah upon us. So it's the upon us goes back to the ni'mah. It doesn't go back to he mentioned. He didn't mention upon us. The ni'mah is what is upon us, right? في الليل. Now this one is the متعلق بالفعل. Now this one goes back to the ذكر. He mentioned in the night. Yeah. So that one goes back to the fi'l. So again, it's important to know which the متعلق, what is it going back to, so that you can understand the meaning better. فقال, حرف عطف or حرف استئناف. قال, he said, we know this فعل فاعل. Yeah, so that jumla is complete, and then whatever comes after it is going to be مقول القول في محل نسب مفعول به, and that entire ayah in Surah Yunus is going to be our مقول القول. All right. ولو قال, واو حرف عطف. لو, we've talked about لو. Yeah. And لو, I should point out this. There's an exception to لو الشرطية when the lam. So we said, how do you know لو is شرطية or not? You look at the jawab, and if the jawab is there and it has lam, then that is جملة شرطية. All right. There's an exception, just like everything Arabic. There's always an exception. Now the exception is when you have a negative sentence in the jawab. If the jawab is a negative sentence, then the lam does not come. The lam says, I do not like negative attitudes in my life, so bye. All right? So the lam does not come in a negative jawab. If the response is negative, basically lam is a very positive guy. So a lam, it likes positive answers and responses. So if the response is not positive, it's like, bye, sayonara, I don't want to be here. So yeah, that's how you remember the exception. All right? Like we are going to see in this case. So he says, ولو, لو, we know is شرط. قال فعل ماضي, and that begins our شرط. قال ماذا, this part is our مفعول به في محل نسب of قال, مقول القول, right? What would happen if he said this? لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة. I expected my لا لم يكن. No. لا says, no, I don't like this business. So la goes away, and that's why there's no lamul jawab in this particular section, because it's a negative sentence. All right. So لم يكن فيه دلالة نعمة أو دلالة نعمة. I will confirm this part later. So this is the jawab part of it. All right. So now when we enter into the jawab, we know lam is harf nafi, and it makes the mudari' majzoom, and that's why yakunu is yakun, because that's the majzoom version of it. This is way back when we did sarf of this is ajwaf. Kana yakunu ajwaf, where you have a weak letter in the middle. All right. So yakun fihi jar majroor. This will be our متعلق بالخبر, because it's a kana sentence. And dalalatu or dalalata, depending on how you understand that, could either be the isim kana or khabar kana. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I will have to confirm that later. All right. But again, the meaning doesn't change much, because more or less, whether you translate as a khabar or an isim, part of the mubtada, the meaning stays the same. على الخلق. Now here's another thing. نعمة على الخلق. We saw it نعمة علينا. So we now realize that نعمة comes with على, right? So this على الخلق, this would be متعلق بنعمة, right? That على الخلق comes is connected to نعمة. من ناحية, this من حرف جار, ناحية اسم مجرور, so this is another متعلق بالفعل. لم يكن, and it's متعلق بالفعل أو بالخبر, you can even say, because it's كان. It's متعلق بالخبر of كان, right? متعلق بالخبر of كان. And من ناحية means from one angle, from one perspective, from one view, from one side, all that. Yeah. واو حرف عطف لكانت. Now here you have lam. Why is the lam there? Because lam, it likes a positive sentence. The minute you bring positive vibes, lam is willing to jump back. So you see, this wow is connecting this jawab to that jawab, even though the previous jawab did not have lam. You see that? So it's important to know that. So wala kanat, kanat is our mubtada here. And of course, the isim of kana is this kalima lakum. And that's why it's kanat. Yeah, kanat lakum. So this lakum is our isim kana. That's our اسم كان. هنا, what is هنا? هنا means here. What does here in Arabic, what is it called? It's called a ظرف. It's called a ظرف. So you would see that in books, you would have هنا as a ظرف. So that would be a ظرف متعلق to كان, كانت, or the خبر of كان. All right. زائدة. So لكانت لكم هنا زائدة. This is the خبر of كانت. ليس, again another sister of كان. ليس لها فائدة. Again we talked about this kind of like general rule. When you have jar majroor after كان and its sisters, then whatever comes after it is going to be the خبر, the ism of ليس or كان and her sisters. Right? So it's like saying ليس فائدة لها. There's no benefit in it. ليس لها فائدة. But most of the time you see the jar majroor is being brought forward because that's the normal speech among Arabs, where the jar majroor is brought forward. Right? So it is important to understand that. Should I finish this section, or like is it gonna take long?
Ilham, can I ask one question here?
Yes.
How the fihi is a sifa of dalalatul ni'mati? Is there a template like that?
So yes, when we talked about complex sifa, so you can have dalala and ni'ma, dalalatu ni'matin. This is not proper. It's common, right?
Yes.
So when you have a jar majroor before or after, and it's mostly after, then it can be treated as the sifa of that
Ism.
like ism. Yeah. So that's why we are saying the fihi, and that's why Arshi was saying if fihi came after, it could possibly be considered as the sifa of dalala, and I said yes. But I also want you to know that it's not always the case that when it comes after. Sometimes it can come before. It's not 100% proof. Again, like with everything, there's an exception. Sometimes it can come before. Yeah.
Sorry, so Ilham, I'm saying when fihi come before dalala, like so here it's like sifa. When it's after, it's like solid to dalala, right? Am I clear?
It can come after as well as a sifa.
Okay. Okay.
رجل من أقصى المدينة in Surah Yasin.
Yes.
It comes after, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Yes,
here
yes.
من أقصى المدينة is treated as the sifa of رجل.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can I just ولو قال had he said هو الذي جعل لكم الليل ساكنا, it wouldn't لم يكن, can you give me a literal translation of لم يكن فيه دلالة? It would not be an indication of a ni'mah upon the creation from the perspective, right? From any perspective, Sister Ella?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that is, if you look at it as dalala, as the khabar, is fine. It wouldn't be any indication of the blessing upon the creation from one side or one perspective. Yeah, that works. It's fine.
Okay.
All right, let's see what else is here in the chat. There isn't indication of ni'mah upon the creation from a side. Yeah, Archie, I think did you get that translation that we just mentioned? Or
Yes,
do you want me to repeat? Okay, that's good.
Sister Ella, وَلَكَانَتْ لَكُمْ هُنَا زَائِدَةً, and now this jawab shart starts again, which is the marking, right? And then surely it would have been. Surely it would have been
Yes.
here?
Yeah,
Okay,
you can say surely, but you can just say, and the lakum here would have been extra.
would have been extra.
Yeah.
Here. Which is of no use here.
Exactly. Yes. And Laysa, you can look at this entire sentence. You can look at this sentence as the sifa, like Arshi said.
Zaidat.
Yeah. Laysa is sifa of Zaidatan. Yes. Yeah. Great.
Jazakallah.
I was just asking because we're 12 minutes over. Do you guys want me to continue or do we stop there? What do you guys think?
We can finish if
We can
passage
finish.
is easy. If passage is easy.
Yeah,
Can
it's
we
quite
just complete
easy.
it, Elena?
Sorry? We finish up to Alina. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, because there's a full stop there. Let's go to the full stop. Right. Okay. No problem, Marianne. Whoever wants to leave, by the way, feel free. I'm just gonna finish up to the full stop and then we can call it a day. Okay, so fa, we know what fa is. Huwa mubtada. I'm gonna go quick because again, we are pretty familiar with most of these things. Yeah. فهو جاء مبتدا, and then what's happening? Why is it not writing? Okay. All right. It wrote all the multiple times. All right. مبتدا. جاء is going to begin our خبر, and of course it's a فعل. So that's a فعل, and the فاعل is the inside pronoun. هو بي حرف جار, لكم اسم مجرور, and together it's متعلق to جاء because جاء بي, we know they're married together. So this متعلق بالفعل جاء. وبالصيغة الفعلية, again واو حرف عطف, this باء connecting back to that previous باء. الصيغة اسم مجرور, الفعلية صفة. So الفعلية is a صفة of الصيغة. Then للدلالة على القصد, لام حرف جار, الدلالة اسم مجرور. So together this is going to be a متعلق بالفعل جاء, and this لام is لام تعليل indicating what, like for what purpose? Yeah. To indicate للدلالة for the purpose of indicating على قصد النعمة. على حرف جار, and this حرف جار we've seen it so many times coming with دلالة. So this على is متعلق to الدلالة. So this is the اسم حرف جار. قصدي اسم مجرور, and together they're متعلق to الدلالة. قصد النعمة, again قصدي مضاف, النعمة مضاف إليه. والتفضل, على قصد النعمة وعلى التفضل. So this was connecting التفضل with قصد النعمة. Yeah. So that's kind of like how it's connected. And then you have علينا. علينا تفضل علينا. Special فضل upon us. So علينا, this is متعلق to التفضل. Right. Is that good? Very clear? All right. Yeah, so we can end there, and tomorrow, inshallah, we will probably introduce a balagha concept called what is it called? المجاز العقلي. Yeah, المجاز العقلي, inshallah, tomorrow. And we'll also talk a little bit about علاوة, because this it's one of those things that we need to probably discuss a little bit more. All right. Alaikum salam, jazakumullah khair. I'm gonna end, but then please don't leave because I promised to tell you guys some good news. I'd like to tell you that before we leave, inshallah. Okay, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm gonna stop the recording.